Watcher societies, half the time they will be talking in Bengali. So, and it's fun for me, it's fine. But I think for non-Bengalis, it will be a little out of place, I think.
True. I think Shrudeep needs to be informed that.
Welcome, Professor Dr. B.D. Patel. Good evening, sir. Welcome.
Shubh Sandhya.
Shubh Sandhya.
Shubh Sandhya, Dr. B.D. Patel.
Shubh
Namaskar.
Sandhya, sir. संजय जी कैसे हैं आप?
First class, sir.
Good evening, Radhi.
I think, Salime, it's not about this. We were talking about some other group, which is a non-Rotarian group.
Today's session will be in English.
We have João Passos from
Brazil.
From Brazil.
Yeah, he and I, we belong to the ITHF Fellowship, and we were in Taiwan also together. Welcome, Wow.
So we kept this meeting irrespective of the Diwali because we know we have a global crowd. So, even with
that's great. Welcome, Wow.
Radhi is joining us from a train.
Wow, is a wonderful. He's a big India fan.
Shankar, the alarm goes off, so it's time to start the meeting.
Yes. That's my 7 o'clock alarm. So
Right.
Kemana Cho?
Bhalo.
Kemana Cho?
Bhalo.
Hello. আপনি বাংলা জানি আমি বাংলা বলবেন
Ola is from Scotland.
বলুন
Good evening, Rotarian Ola. Good evening.
Radhi is joining us from a train. From where are you? Where to where are you going, Radhi?
Arodhaba, please.
I'm going from Trichy to Chennai.
All right. Okay. So shall we start, Sanjay?
Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Let's start. I think we'll have more members who will join in because the meeting time is 7. By the time we do all the formalities, we'll have all the other members join. Thank you.
So
please go ahead.
Who's kick-starting, Sanjay?
Raji.
I guess it's me.
Okay.
Okay, a very, very good evening to everyone. I'm Rajiv Swaminathan Talam, treasurer of this wild group, I would say. It's my pleasure to extend a cheerful welcome to all of you for today, the 5th November 2021 speaker session. On behalf of our chairman, Dr. Sanjay Krishna, secretary, Dr. Janaki Raman, board of directors of Rotary Fellowship of Wildlifers for Conservation, I extend a warm welcome to all the wildlifers. Our distinguished speaker for the day, Rotarian Madhumita Bishnu, who is a member of E-Club of Melbourne, Australia. Our fellowship group district director, Rotarian Srinivas Kalia, I suppose he's not here. And participating club president, Rotarian Shankar Subramaniam, and members of Rotary Bangalore, Rajmal Vilas, and another participating club, which is Rotary Bangalore Junction, Rotarian Ajay Bala, who's the president, and the members. Thank you all. Your presence and participation makes us very happy. I'm sure that you'll all feel enriched and surprised to learn about the fellowship groups and number of groups that exist. There is a group for everyone and every interest. I'm sure Madhu will be a better person to explain and share the details on the various groups. And I shouldn't be missing welcoming the various chairs from different fellowships. I'm not sure who's here, so kindly excuse me if I missed your name. And finally, our vision statement. Together, we make protection of wildlife a way of life. Thank you all. And over to Rotarian Geetanjali, who's our board of directors. She'll be introducing our distinguished speaker, and also she's the moderator for today's session. Over to you, Geetanjali.
Thank you, Rajiv. Let me just keep the PPT on 1 second. Just give me a minute.
The session will be moderated by both Rotarian Shankar Subramaniam as well as Geetanjali.
Can you all see the PPT? I mean, the slide?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, good evening, everyone, and a very happy Diwali to all of you. And thanks for joining in spite of being a big day for a lot of us. And yes, 1 second. Okay, here we are with Madhumita Bishnu, or Madhu, as she is called by all Rotarian friends from all over the world. Basically a Kolkata resident or Kolkata resident. And as Rajiv already mentioned, she's a member of E-Club of Melbourne, RID 9800 Australia. Madhu is a member of several Rotary fellowships and action groups. She is the chair 2020-2022 for Educators Fellowship, past chair of Roti, very interesting name, which is actually Rotarians on the internet, between 2017 to 2019. She is also part of Rotarian Singles Fellowship, President-elect and VP of East India and Bangladesh of International Travel and Hosting Fellowship. She joined ITHF in the year 2001 in San Antonio during Recon, has been a speaker for the same fellowship in breakout sessions in the year 2017. She also is part of Genealogy Fellowship, member of Environment Fellowship for Rotarians, social media director of International Fellowship of Rotarian Musicians, and she has got so many hats to her credit. She is also a member of Rotary action groups of MCH, authors and writers, peace, and also membership manager of Cruising Fellowship, member of Bird Watching Fellowship, of course, Global History Fellowship, Gin Fellowship, and of course our own Wildlifers Fellowship, which is for conservation, and also action group of family safety. Madhu has attended 25 Rotary conventions so far. That must be one record, I must say, since 1998, consecutively till date, both physically and virtually. She is a Rotary volunteer and is a TRF cadre member for basic education and literacy. She was a site visitor for 3 projects on CLE at Manila in the Philippines and Dhaka in Bangladesh, Street Children's Education Program in Kisumu in Kenya, and Computer Literacy Program in Hubli, and also in Pune. Madhu was the technical coordinator for education and literacy on behalf of TRF as cadre member between 2009 to 2012. She has worked for several matching grant projects and global grant project on microcredit, IOL, sanitary toilets, tube well literacy program with clubs in US, UK, Australia, Denmark. So any of you want to apply for grants, please get in touch with her. Madhu has been a speaker in several Rotary conferences in India and speaker in several clubs of RIT 5170 USA. She has also been a panelist and moderator on various topics during several RI conventions. She is the Sergeant at Arms in all the RI conventions she has attended till now. I guess that's another record. Madhu, as a Rotary volunteer, has taught English in schools run by Rotary Agrabad in RIT 3280 in 2006 and school run by Rotary Chittagong Midtown in RIT 3280 in the year 2008, 2010, 2012 for 2 months each. Madhu has taught English in Guangpu Secondary School in East Taiwan, and Dadu Elementary School in Central Taiwan in the year 2017-18 and between 2019 and 20 for 2 months. Madhu's experience on attending RA convention has been published in Rotary News, India several times, and as Secretary of Rotating Singles Fellowship in the Rotarian, the Rotary News, and News Worker of RID 9800 Melbourne, Australia. As part of Birdwatching Fellowship, articles published in Rotarian magazine October 2020 issue also. Madhu is Paul Harris Fellow +2 and Bequest member +3. Madhu has done Masters in Islamic History from University of Calcutta and works in REACH, a school for mentally challenged children. Her hobbies include traveling, of course, photography, cooking, reading, and listening to music. So here we have our own Madhu telling us about fellowships, a hidden gem of Rotary.
Thank you so much, Rotarian Gitanjali there, for that wonderful introduction. I'm very much honored to be part of this evening's program. Thank you so much, Chair Sanjay, for inviting me. And it's always interesting to share on Rotary Fellowship. So just to give an example that how did this topic come about? While we were having a convention in Lisbon in 2013, then the chair of the Singles Fellowship, Trish from UK, suddenly said one evening that there would be a breakout session in future conventions where fellowships members can attend and can share on fellowships. So Trish said that he has thought about a topic which would be fellowship, a hidden gem of Rotary, because there are several Rotarians who, in spite of attending Rotary International Conventions, Rotary conferences, are not very knowledgeable on Rotary fellowships. Everybody has their own idea as to what is fellowship. So the topic was very well accepted by RI. And so 3 times in a row, we had that breakout session, and every time we had between 200 to 300 people attending the session. And it would be for 1 hour at least. Sometimes it did cross more than 1 hour because people had a lot of questions. People were very keen to know on the various fellowships. Of course, from the time we had these sessions until now, a lot of Rotary fellowships have increased in numbers. So I would just share some of it. I cannot share about all because as I'm not member of all 96 fellowships. Gitanjali, the next screen, please. So just to give a brief idea, what is the fellowship all about? The fellowship are Rotarians who, in spite of being involved in a lot of community service and international service work, would like to be a part of some recreational activities where it would be hobbies which would lead a group of Rotarians to share and to learn. That was the way the fellowships came about. And so it is hobbies, sports, vocations, Rotary history and culture, and recreational activities. Not every time would all Rotarians be like to be involved in community service and international service. Some Rotarians just like to be a part of Rotary for the enjoyment of fellowship. And so that's how it came about. Of course, at the moment, Rotarians, Rotary alumni, anybody can be a part of fellowships. It is no more restricted to just to Rotarians. And that is really a good thing. And so that is the current scenario. But when it started, it was only restricted to Rotarians. The next slide, please. So just to read out once more, Rotary Fellowships are international, independently organized group of Rotarians, family members of Rotarians, and participants and alumni who share a common hobby, recreational interest, or profession. Rotary Fellowships are members of the opportunity to have fun, make new friendships around the world, and enhance their experience in Rotary. This is all that is there to the Rotary Fellowship. The next slide, please. So as our current RI president's theme is to serve to change lives, so I feel that through fellowships, we can definitely serve to change lives. I mean, there are fellowships where we do not do any kind of service, not related to community service. It is basically just having fun. So just to give an example, that singles fellowship. Now for singles fellowship, just to give an example that how it came about, one of the Rotarian from California became a widow and in 2009, and she approached the district governor to say that people attending the conventions are always couples or families. There are hardly single Rotarians who attend. So what will happen to the single Rotarians? And so the district governor said it's a very good point. And so the fellowship came about that single Rotarians, and it is not a matchmaking area, but it's just Rotarians who are single, can be a spinster, a bachelor, a divorcee, a widower, not a problem, would become a member. And if any Rotarian would get married during the time of being a member of that fellowship, would have to leave the fellowship. And we've had such experiences where Rotarians holding positions in the fellowship have married and they had to leave the fellowship. So then this fellowship really doesn't raise any money to do any community service. It's basically, the idea was that nobody should feel lonely. And so when it's single Rotarians staying in a hotel together, having the breakfast all together, enjoying the evening programs during the conventions together, and just having a wonderful time as a group. So that's how this fellowship came about. And there is absolutely no, though it's $20, that is the fee to be a member, but that $20 is not for doing any kind of community service project. So this is the reason I said that it is just to change lives, because I've made trips with single Rotarians in Malaysia, and it had just been a wonderful time that I had after the Bangkok Convention in 2012. So it was a Rotarian from Melbourne, Australia, a Rotarian from Drobak, Norway, and myself. Three of us, we flew to Kuala Lumpur, and we had a wonderful weekend together. So that was just the idea the fellowship is all about. And I think that this RI theme for this year really is a very befitting theme for the fellowships. The next slide, please. So just to give the examples with some photos of the fellowships, I haven't shared all 96 fellowships photos, but just some of them. So one is Railroad. The Rotarian who's the chair is from England. And there is for magicians. So, there are Rotarians who are magicians by profession. So that's a reason this fellowship has come about. And I think that's very interesting that, we have a fellowship for magicians. The next slide, please. So how would one join the fellowship? Of course, you would go to www.rotary.org and you would look for fellowship under programs. You would look for fellowships and you will get the details. Of course, you can type in, like, to give an example, wildlife conservation. If you were to just type in wildlife conservation, immediately the website would come up. And then you can just click onto it and you can straight away join, click on join, and then, become a member. So that's the way you can be a part of the fellowship. The next slide, please. So just to share some photos. The first one, we recently had a trip to Gopinatham and I had a wonderful time. Of course, I'll share that experience a little later, but this is just to share the whole group that we were. We were 18 of us, and not all were Rotarians. Most of us were Rotarians, but there were some of us who were not Rotarians. And I am sure they would very soon join Rotary. There's no doubt about it, because they enjoyed so much. And so this is a group photo with two kids we had amongst us, and one was in Interact and the other one, I think, would help to start an Interact in her college. So this was a great fun that we had. I especially thoroughly enjoyed being a part of this trip. The next one is the Travel and Hosting Fellowship. And just to give an example, that I never knew anything about Rotary Fellowship until 2001. I became a Rotarian in 1999, and after 9 years of Rotaract in Calcutta. And then what happened was there was a past district governor, Bharat Reddy from Nellore, 3160. He came to District 3290 for addressing on a topic, and I hosted him. And he said that, why don't you join Travel and Hosting Fellowship? This is one of the best fellowship. And I got all the details from him, and I was so interested that in 2001 in San Antonio, when the convention happened, I was formally inducted into the fellowship. And I tell you that from 2001 until now, I've joined several, but Travel and Hosting Fellowship continues to be one of my favorite fellowship. So what we do, what is the concept? The concept is that anybody can be a member. For 1 year, it is $55, and for 3 years, it's $75. So you can host in any way. It need not be a full hosting. I mean, just to give an example, if I were to go to Bangalore and I look up the Rotarians, ITHF members who are there in Bangalore, and then I email all of them, and then maybe some of them might respond, or maybe one person might respond. And one person might say, welcome to Bangalore, you're more than welcome to come, and but I cannot host you fully. I can just invite you for a tea or a cup of tea or coffee. That is absolutely fine. Or that person can say that I can invite you to our club meeting. I can take you to some local sightseeing. So you are a cultural ambassador from your district, and you are going to another place where you are getting the in-depth knowledge, which would not be restricted to only touristic and something more than tourism. So when you're fully hosted, then that's the very big advantage. And I've hosted several Rotarians from various parts of the world in my house. I have been hosted several times. So this is just an example that, the lady on the left, Sita, she is from Kathmandu, Nepal. And she actually is hosting these two Rotarians in her house, and they are having a traditional Nepali meal. So thali rather. So that's the wonderful, aspect of this fellowship. So that's just a photo of that one. The next slide, please. Now, just to give an example of these fellowships, a beer, cruising fellowship, chess fellowship, because it's also sports, and the singles fellowship. Now, to share a fun part of it, that in one of the Rotary International Convention, I was sitting in the singles fellowship booth, and in the House of Friendship, what happens is one entire area is for Rotary fellowships and Rotary Action Group. Now, earlier, RI used to charge $100 to give a booth, but since many years now, RI has stopped charging, and so any fellowship or any Rotary Action Group can have a booth, can apply for a booth, and the booth given is for free. So here I was sitting in the singles fellowship. On one side of the fellowship was the beers fellowship, the other side was the whiskey fellowship, and adjacent to the whiskey was wine appreciation. So you could imagine the amount of crowd that was there was just mind-boggling. Everybody is all in jovial mood and enjoying the fellowship, meeting new people, discussing on wine, discussing on beer, discussing on whiskey, and coming in and peeping into singles fellowship and finding me all by myself in the booth. So it was absolute fun. So that was beer fellowship. The cruising fellowship, I have done 2 Rotary cruise. One on River Danube and one on River Rhine. So 2019 was in Germany, from Nuremberg to Luxembourg. And 2017 was on River Danube, so it was from Switzerland to Holland. And I had a wonderful time. So whatever money we had to pay for the cruise, $200 went to the polio fund. And that was our contribution towards the fellowship. And we just had a wonderful time. Though it was wine cruises, but it was not restricted to wine, because there were people who would prefer having whiskey or having other kind of alcohol. So it was every kind of alcohol was available, but it was basically a wine cruise. And the Singles Fellowship, some of us are there, I'm there. So this person who is bearded, he's Trish, he was the chair, and he was the person who started with this topic for breakout session, Fellowship, a hidden gem of Rotary. And some of us are there during the Lisbon Convention. The next slide, please. So I would like to come to the Wildlife Conservation Fellowship. Now, I am into photography. I'm not a professional one, but I'm very keen on wildlife photography. And when I was asked by Chair Sanjay that whether I would like to be a part of this wildlife conservation, I immediately said yes, because I live in Calcutta, and not so far away from my city is Sundarbans, the largest mangrove forest of the world. And I'm in love with that area. I visit every single year. I mean, I do not know for how many years I've been going there. Once, definitely per year, sometimes twice. And I just recently, in the month of October, I went for a trip, and I did see Royal Bengal tiger. It just gives goosebumps, you know, when one sees a Royal Bengal tiger in Sundarbans, because sighting Royal Bengal tigers in national parks all across India and sighting in Sundarbans is very different. So I immediately thought that, yes, there could be a day when the Sundarbans will be at stake and it would not be there. And then the ecological imbalance will definitely be hitting us hard. So conservation of wildlife is very essential. And Royal Bengal tiger doesn't get its food very easily. One might not find in various positions that one might see the tigers in the national parks would see it in the Sundarbans. It's very unlikely. I mean, just the tiger would come on the bank of the river, that's very common, or swimming across the river, that's also very common. But to see with cubs, or to see with its kill, mating, is very unlikely. But of course, who knows, anything might happen. And basically, the tigers are man-eaters, because getting food for the tiger is very difficult. So wildlife conservation is something which really touched my heart, and I immediately said yes. So currently, we were chartered in 2020. We currently have more than 250 members from various parts of the world. Some of our members are in today's evening session. And because it was started on 5th of month, that's why the charter was given on 5th, and that's why 5th of every month we have a Zoom session. And so we do have people talking about on various topics. We've had Rotarians from Sri Lanka sharing, from Kenya. We've had several Rotarians speaking on various topics on 5th of every month. And when I was asked that if I would like to share on fellowships, I immediately said yes. So, and we do field trips. So I did not attend the first field trip that took place on behalf of the fellowship, but Gopinatham was absolutely an amazing one that I had. I mean, just to share that it was shared on WhatsApp group. And I thought to myself that I have to be there, because I've never met the Rotarians from District 3190. I mean, I know some of the Rotarians from 3190, but wildlife conservation, not all of them. In fact, I did not meet Chair. I did not meet the board member Gitanjali. I mean, there are several Rotarians who are part of this fellowship whom I've not met. And I thought this is a big opportunity, and I immediately said yes. And it could all happen because of Chair Sanjay and because of board member Gitanjali. I mean, I'm extremely grateful to both of them for ensuring that I can travel. I was hosted. I had a wonderful, wonderful time in the place. And of course, the place itself was being next to heaven. It was so good. There were 9 tents, and all 9 tents were, was for us. We were 18 of us. And as I said, we were a group of Rotarians and non-Rotarians. So it was, I flew to Bangalore, and then from there, Gitanjali arranged for a car drop to the Gopinatham Mystery Trail. And then, of course, I reached one day before, and so I rested. And they arrived from Kurg, and then, we all met up the next day morning. And then I got introduced to every single Rotarian, and we all had such fun, looking into the wildlife, seeing the wild elephants, and, listening to the call of the sloth bear. So, because sloth bear I've seen in Taroba, but that was just for a fraction of a second. And here we could hear the sloth bear growling. So that was really nice. And Gitanjali is such an expert on birds. I mean, I learned so much from her. So there were a lot of birds that I saw, and many of them were for the first time. So I really had a wonderful time. Next slide, please. And these are some of the photos. One photo is Gitanjali and Sanjay and myself. And another one is the whole group. So that place actually looks like, any foreign country. I mean, we do not need to go anywhere. Our own country is so beautiful. So we really had a wonderful time the day we did this trail in the morning. And so this is the group photo of ours. And any questions, if anybody would like to have, I'm more than happy to answer. Thank you so much. The last slide is actually having the website. Yeah. So please do join the fellowship.
Yes. Shall I stop with the share?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful. Shankar, want to say something?
So
Just come back within a second. There's somebody at the door.
All right.
Sorry.
we'll just wait for Madhumita to come. So while she is out, I thought I'll just sneak in that the fellowship for photography is also around, and anybody would like to be part of the photography fellowship, which is International Fellowship of Rotarian Photographers, IFRP. It's a little nascent at this point of time. We need a lot of hands to make it grow stronger. It's not as buzzing with activity like wildlifers, but it's got a lot of potential. We're right now doing a photography contest, which I would share with all of you. Tanya, if Tanya is there, maybe she can share the link to the photography website, photography contest that we're running on the that's it.
Sure, Shankar, I'll just do that.
Rashmi has already done that. So we are running a contest.
Thank you, Rashmi.
Yeah, running a contest right now, and this is basically to help raise funds for the Rotary clubs to give bicycles to girl children in rural schools. So that's how we also blend the fellowship groups also passion with service. I think that's how we are going about in some of the fellowships. So yes, we need more hands to make the IFRP also stronger. So anybody would like to do that. So coming back to Madhumita, I think first of all, I'm just wondering, how you make some time. So I think one important question that I have for you is, how do you make time for so many fellowships? And please share that secret with us, because I really want to belong to many of those fellowships. And if that secret can be shared, it will make it happen, right?
Well, we all know that we are volunteering. And so when you have interest, when you have the passion, you certainly will make time. I mean, all of us, the busiest people are Rotarians. We all know that. And so, yeah, I just make time. Not all the fellowships need my time equally. Some fellowship needs more, some fellowship doesn't need more. So, I just split my time between club volunteering and between volunteering for the fellowship. I mean, Valsanar is here from Canada. She's part of the Travel and Hosting Fellowship, and she's also part of the Wildlife Conservation. She knows that how we give time for the Travel and Hosting Fellowship.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, this is the question I always ask Madhu, how she manages so efficiently.
So, Madhu, I think it was a wonderful insight into the other side of Rotary. I think the fellowship part is something which is nascent at this point of time. It's still picking up. There's a lot of potential I see. And I think that, you're a great ambassador for the fellowship groups. And I'm sure that we can all follow our passion and also enjoy Rotary together, so it becomes like-minded people, make new friends and connect with people across the world. So right now, so many people from different countries are there in this meeting right now, and it is so wonderful to connect with all of them. So I think I personally see a lot of potential, Madhu, and after your presentation, it is all the more exciting. Just to give you a what networking can do is, right now on this call, we have Tanya Raj, whom you shared a room with in one of the photography tours on Darter. And she was just telling me that, Madhu and I were in the same room together. So, it's a very, very small world. And I'm sure that going further, we can exploit it. And we should now open it out for questions from the group to see what questions and queries or suggestions or ideas that our participants have today. So Geetanjali, probably I'll let you manage that part. If you want me to manage the chat part, and you could manage the people who are raising their hands on the screen. So together, I'll keep an eye out for the chat, and you could keep an eye out for people who want to speak.
Sure. Yes, I think the first question I would like to ask Madhu, how difficult, I think we have our chairman also. I mean, this is the general question. I think a lot of people have this in mind because I'm part of some other groups. They keep asking how easy or how difficult it is to start a fellowship.
It is not tough at all. It is, because our chair Sanjay has done it, it is not tough. I have never personally started any fellowship, but I know that, fellowships can be started quite easily because, I mean, all of us know Rotarians from various parts of the world. And, just involving a handful of Rotarians from few districts, we can just start. And RI will always help. Like, this was initially not supposed to be wildlife conservation. And then, later on became wildlife conservation. So, there are certain formalities which RI would like to see. And then once that is done, it's not difficult.
Okay. And
I think Geetanjali, I think Sanjay can clarify this.
Yeah.
One of the things that they normally say is that while we are under we follow the larger principles of Rotary, we are quite independent as a fellowship group. So I think there's a lot of freedom to be creative and be innovative and experiment with a lot of things. So Sanjay, maybe you could share some thought, because you have been starting fellowship groups by the dozen, so
the record holder, I think.
Yes.
Thanks, Shankar. No, basically, when we want to start an international fellowship group, we need representation from 5 different countries. So fellowship groups are independently run. They are not controlled by RI, but however, they have to function in accordance with the RI policies. See, one thing we have to understand about a fellowship group is we should not run it like a club. It need not be run like a club. We need not have our own projects, but we are bound to. If we have to support a project, we have to support a Rotary project. If a Rotary club wants to do a particular project in the field of, in whatever field, the fellowship group can support. Now, for example, Rotary E-Connect, to which Gitanjali, there's club. They wanted to basically distribute books to school children in Gopinatham village. So we participated in that particular program. So we are open to supporting such programs. So it's quite easy to run a fellowship group, but the person who runs must have the passion on the subject to do it. That's very important. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Gitanjali, Pradeep wants to say something. He's on.
Please unmute yourself and ask questions.
Hi Gitanjali. Hi Sanjay. Hi. Good to see you. Oh, happy Diwali there. And wonderful talk, Madhu.
Thank you.
This question, either Sanjay or Madhu, anyone of you can answer. Now, you see, when we start a fellowship group, especially international, there is a fee that we need to pay to RI. For example, if I'm a part of the golfing group, so if you have to join the International Fellowship of Golfing Rotarians, they want us to pay, each member pay 250 euros, and they want to make us life members. Now, this is rather steep, considering that ultimately you're playing with the same set of people, and you're playing with your own district people or your own country and all that, and raising funds for community service. Many times my colleagues have asked me, what is it that RI is charging us 250 euros to become a life member of International Fellowship of Golfing Rotarians? Because of which in our district 3190, what we did, we just started one within the district. We just call it as Fellowship of Golfing Rotarians of District 3190. Because nobody was willing to join the international, to become an affiliate of international. So do all fellowships have this challenge, or is it that they think that golfers can afford more?
I think Sanjay will be the right person to respond.
But are they paying to RI or just, I don't think so.
Yeah, Gitanjali, let me clarify. Dr. Pradeep, it's a very good question. This is one question every Rotarian has in his mind. RI is not charging any fees to start a fellowship. So that's very important for us to know. Like I said, fellowship group is run independent of RI. It is not controlled by RI in any manner. But we are supposed to report to RI at the end of the year to say that there are no financial repercussions on RI. So basically, if we are charging any fees, if a fellowship group, of course, every fellowship group can charge a fees. If a fellowship group is charging a fees, then we are bound to render accounts to RI and say that this is what the money was collected, and this is how we have contributed to the Rotary projects, and this is what the administration cost is. So basically, the RI is saying that you don't make money out of a fellowship group. So whoever is running the fellowship group, so it is individual fellowship groups. The board of directors of each fellowship group can decide whether they want to charge fees or they don't want to charge fees. Of course, some of the fellowship groups, they feel, the chairs on the board of directors, they feel that they have to charge fees so that there is some kind of a seriousness or some kind of a control over the members. But in our case, when it comes to wildlife conservation, the board of directors decided not to have any fees because it makes sense to have more numbers when we are talking about conservation. So, I hope.
It defeats the purpose of fellowship when there are challenges like this. That's what I'm trying to say, actually.
Yeah, of course, when it comes to district fellowship, the RI does not prevent a district to have its own fellowship group. But as long as you are using the name Rotary, you must ensure that you follow the Rotary policies. That's very important.
Branding, etc., all of that. Now we are in the process of forming one. You know, we are in the process of forming one. But I just want this information because I was not able to get many people to join the Golfing Fellowship International, because their website says 250 euros life membership. So you are saying it is dependent on the group and nothing to do with RI.
Absolutely. RI is not taking a dime from you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Excellent presentation. Excellent.
Thank you.
I'm a wildlife photographer, so I was wondering about Sundarbans that you were talking about actually.
By the way, Dr. Pradeep was our previous speaker who spoke on Ecuador and the lovely hummingbirds of Ecuador. Yeah.
Thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
We have a
Ola, yeah.
Ola e-club, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madhu, and thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.
I also agree with Sanjay. The issue of charging has to do with individual fellowships. Okay, like the Rotary Global History Fellowship, we are charging fees, and basically because of we have websites to maintain. So sometimes most of these fellowships that are charging, all the fees has to do with their administrative, like website maintenance, to protect their websites from hackers. So there are a lot of things, because if they are charging for money and members are paying through a website, so which means their card must be secure. So all the monies that are being charged are basically for the fellowship, not for RI. But because money is involved, we have to be accountable to RI, because at the end of every Rotary year, each fellowship has to give reports to RI, report about your income and basically about your expenditure. But RI is not the one that will tell you this is the amount that you need to charge. This depends on the fellowship board of directors. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ola, for emphasizing on the fact that there is that RI is not collecting any money. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else like to ask questions? Madhu, one more thing I wanted to know. Now we have a couple of our interactors joining here. Do they have a fellowship for interactors, Rotaractors?
Rotaractors can join any fellowship, but interactors, not too sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Rotaractors can join any fellowship, just like Rotaractors can do global grant projects. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we have
this, Gitanjali, if the fellowship group has any restriction on a particular member joining the group, I mean, if it is open to taking members below 18, they can take interactors. That won't. It depends, because we have some fellowships like whiskey, wine, beer, so you can't have a general rule. So
true. Yeah. Now Simi Mebisa wants to ask a question.
Okay, good evening. Thank you. This is Tusime from Uganda. I'm a Rotarian here in Uganda, and I'm interested in fellowship groups. I might maybe join this wildlife conservation fellowship because I love hiking and Mother Nature. So I wanted to thank Madhumita for the presentation and also for whoever organized this fellowship. Because also within Rotary, we tend to confuse. We use that word fellowship to mean everything and anything, whereas fellowship means something very particular. But I love what you guys are doing, and keep it up. And I look forward to more such presentations. And I would also like to have written to Madhumita. I would like to have her presentation, which I enjoyed a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I shall surely email you. Thank you so much.
Maybe have more people from Uganda join all the fellowships.
Definitely. Or from East Africa in general. Thank you.
And also for your information, all these meetings are getting recorded, and you can find them on YouTube, and you can also find the link on our website. That is a website for Wildlife Fellowship Conservation. Yeah.
Thank you. I've noted.
So if there's no question, I would like to ask Madhu or anybody else. One, of course, we've been speaking a lot about wildlife here, but any other vibrant fellowships that you come across would like to share? Of course, apart from the singles.
Singles fellowship. Singles fellowship is real fun because there are Rotarians who are married and they go to the convention all by themselves, and then they suddenly join the fellowship for $20. It's like, no, you're not meant to. You have to be single. So yeah, I mean, I've had interesting experiences, as you can understand, because I'm a member of the Singles Fellowship. But I would really like to speak about music fellowship. I mean, I know that there are several Rotarians here who are part of the music fellowship. But the music that we have here in India is restricted to film music or maybe Indian music. But what we do is on the international part, every Saturday, because it's the chair is based in California, so it's 10th at the moment, it's 10:30 p.m. India time. We meet and we actually listen to various kinds of music. So we really enjoy that for 1 hour. You know, there are Rotarians who cannot sing at all, but they just listen. They join just for the fun of it. And, we've really bonded so well. Because of the pandemic, we've formed this virtual world choir. And though, of course, we do have a choir, and we perform every single year prior to the pandemic, every single year during the interfaith service, we sing. And that is really something remarkable that, so many Rotarians, performing live. It's really remarkable. So I would invite all of you to be a part of the session tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. India time. We are going to be there. I shall share the Zoom ID, and please join. Just listen to all of us. See that how we sing, and there's this John Arkenhusen from USA. He directs us, and he records the sessions, and then he later on sends us the link, and then I upload it on YouTube. But I would invite all of you to attend. I shall share the Zoom ID and password.
Sure, Madhumita. And do we have one for dancing Rotarians, or do we have anything for people who love to dance?
I don't know.
We don't have. I think Shankar, you can take lead and start one for Salva.
Yeah, Latin American.
I will join you, Shankar.
Latin American dancing.
And just to add to what Madhumita said about IFRM, that's the Music Fellowship. It was one of the first fellowship groups that I joined. In fact, it's a very vibrant group. Like she said, you don't have to be a singer. And even if you are not, you can sing at listeners' risk. So you don't have to worry. That's what we all do in that group. So thanks.
Yeah, anyone else want to ask any question?
So Madhumita just share the Zoom ID and password there on the chat.
I would like to join the Music Lovers Fellowship. Any idea on who to contact?
Yes, I shall give you the website.
Thank you so much.
Right. So, Gitanjali, I think there are no more questions. So,
who is this? Sorry.
This is Pragya. That was Pragya from Rotary Club of Bangalore.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes,
Pragya,
hi everybody. Yeah, hi.
3190, Pragya, 3190, you can get in touch with me. I'm also
Okay,
a
great.
district fellowship director.
Okay, great.
My name is Sanjay Krishna.
Okay.
You can get in touch.
Oh,
with
sure.
me.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Your contact details, if you can just share, or I can
Yeah,
leave mine also.
Yeah, Rashmi, can you please type in my mobile number on the chat box, please, if you can. Yeah.
Yeah, Madhu, you can also share your contact details if somebody
Yeah,
would
sure.
contact you for any kind of fellowships. I think definitely Madhu has got, I think, the maximum number of fellowship, memberships. So I'm sure you can connect with Madhu.
You can take me as I'm like her assistant. You can get in touch with me. I will get in turn. In turn, I'll get Madhu answer.
Sanjay, you're too kind.
Yeah, I think we have one question on the chat. I do Western music and I'm 17. Can I join? I think it's an interactor. Yeah.
So
Western.
Yeah, she can ask because I'm not too sure on that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think no more
Does he belong to District 3190?
Yes.
I think she should be joined. I don't think there is any restriction.
All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. She can get in touch with me. I'll connect her to the district chair for IFRM.
All right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Again, now I request Shweta Talam to propose a vote of thanks.
A very good evening to all. I am Shweta R. Talam, currently serving as the Director of Public Image for Rotary eConnect and also serving as the Interact Advisor for Red Bridge International Academy, Bangalore. On behalf of our Chairman, Rotarian Sanjay Krishna, Secretary, Rotarian Janaki Ram, Board of Directors of Rotary Fellowship of Wildlifers for Conservation, it's my privilege to propose a word of thanks and acknowledge the participation. My heartfelt thanks to all the wildlifers, our speaker for the day, Rotarian Madhumita Bishnu, our fellowship group district director, Rotarian Srinivas Kalya, participating club, Rotary Bangalore Rajmahal Villas, President Rotarian Sanjay Subramaniam and members, Rotarian Ajay, President of Rotary Bangalore Junction and members. I would also like to thank Rotarian Vinitha Chinnappa, Chairperson of Bridge Players Fellowship Group. Thanks to Rotarian Rashmi for managing Zoom and sharing all the important messages to us. Today's session has been very enriching. We request you to spread the word about our fellowship group, Rotary Fellowship of Wildlifers for Conservation, and about our Rotary Fellowship group in general. It would benefit all in more ways than one. And also, I would like to thank all our interactors of Red Bridge International Academy, our president, Weston Nikhil, for joining today's session. The link for the form to group has been shared in messages. Please feel free to share it and also browse to our website to learn more about the group. Again, my sincere and heartfelt thanks to all. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhu. Thank you, Shweta, for that wonderful vote of thanks. And we can probably leave the floor open for members to interact for a few minutes, and then we can formally close it. Yeah, thank you, Madhu. It was an excellent.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah. Okay, now the floor is open. Valsa, welcome again. Thanks for joining today. Valsa is our fellowship group member, Canada.
Yeah, wonderful.